Welcome to the 100th day of our journey through the Bible. While it's clear that David wrote many of the individual Psalms, he is also clearly not the author of the entire collection. Two of the Psalms, 72 and 127, are attributed to Solomon, David's son and successor. Psalm 90 is a prayer assigned to Moses. Another group of 12 Psalms is ascribed to the family of Asaph. The sons of Korah wrote 11 Psalms. Psalm 88 is a tribute to Heman, while Psalm 89 is assigned to Ethan, the Ezrahite. With the exception of Solomon and Moses, all these additional authors were priests or Levites who were responsible for providing music for sanctuary worship during David's reign. 50 of the Psalms designate no specific person as author. They were probably written by many different people. The Psalms span a period of many centuries. The oldest psalm in the collection is probably the 90th, the Prayer of Moses, a reflection on the frailty of man as compared to the eternity of God. The latest psalm is probably Psalm 137. It's a song of lament clearly written during the days when the Hebrews were being held captive by the Babylonians. This would put it somewhere between 586 to 538 BC. It is clear that the 150 individual psalms were written by many different people across a period of 1,000 years of Israel's history. They may have been compiled and put together in their present form by some unknown editor shortly after the captivity ended about 537 BC. Some of the Psalms written by David grew out of specific experiences in his life. For example, Psalm 3 is described as a psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. But others seem to be general psalms that arose from no specific life situation. Knowing the historical particular background of a psalm can help you interpret it correctly and apply its message to your own life. We may think of the Psalms as a description of our human response to God. At times, God is presented in all of his majesty and glory, and our response is wonder, awe, fear, as in Psalm 68:32. Sing to God, you kingdoms of the earth. But other Psalms portray God as a loving Lord who is involved in our lives. Our response in these cases is to draw close to his comfort and security. As in Psalm 23, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. God is the same Lord in both of these Psalms, but we respond to him in different ways according to specific needs in our lives. What a marvelous God we worship. The psalmist declares one who is high and lifted up beyond our human experiences, but also one who is close enough to touch and who walks beside us along life's way. Other psalms might be described as outcries against God and the circumstances of life rather than responses to God because of his glory and his presence in our lives. But even in these very strong psalms of lament, the psalmist is never totally engulfed by a feeling of despair. That's very significant for us. We can all bring our feelings to God, no matter how negative or complaining they may be, and we can rest assured that he will hear and understand. The psalmist teaches us that the most profound prayer of all is a cry for help as we find ourselves overwhelmed by the problems of life. Your own life will be forever enriched if you will read the Psalms devotionally, marking ones that speak to your feelings and your love for Yahweh. And you will find that as the circumstances of your life change, new and different Psalms will suddenly be there just for you. I encourage you today to meditate on Psalm 62. Let me give you a start by reading it. You will find in it and the Psalms around it very special words that will be a blessing to your life. For God alone, my soul waits in silence, and from him comes my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be greatly shaken. How long will all of you attack a man to batter him, like a leaning wall, a tottering fence? They only plan to thrust him down from his high position. They take pleasure in falsehood. They bless with their mouths, but inwardly they curse. Selah. For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be shaken. On God rests my salvation and my glory. My mighty rock, my refuge is God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. Those of low estate are but a breath. Those of high estate are a delusion. In the balances they go up. They are together lighter than a breath. Put no trust in extortion. Set no vain hopes on robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart on them. Once God has spoken, twice have I heard this, that power belongs to God.